What's up, everybody? Andy Gunnin here with the Fat Thor Podcasts, and with me, my co-host, podcasting partner, not co-host, podcasting partner, Jody Cieutat of Midget Mafia. OG, I'm running a little behind today. I'm running ragged. We didn't do a show last week. I'm coming in hot and late, so yeah, we're batting 1,000.
It's all good.
Yeah, you say it's all good. I'm like, I still haven't had coffee. It's 11:30 in the morning, and I haven't had coffee yet, so I'm struggling. But anyways, welcome back. What's up? What's up? There's my Uncle Chuck. What's up? A lot of things going on. Last week we were busy. I was busy filming on a movie for 3 days, and then they cut our day short, and then Jody was busy, and then I was doing shows, and then Jody was doing stuff, and Jody's getting people mad, and then he's getting mad at Hershey's, and then there's all kinds of other things.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna change my favorite candy.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but we decided to open this show up this week. I think you put a TikTok out there. I haven't even looked, dude. I've been so busy. The last couple of shows we've had guests, which have been great. When the guests are on here on the podcast, we like to give them the platform, them the entire hour to promote, talk about themselves, what they're doing, because that's why they're here.
Yeah.
That's why they're here, to either promote or talk about themselves or give us something interesting, different than just me and Jody babbling about our stupidity. Anyways.
That's
Which
what
I
I
will
get caught
do.
up in.
What?
Yeah, I get caught up in their stories, and it's like interesting. So I'm just sitting here listening, and then
Oh,
I'm
it's
like,
fine.
oh yeah, I need to be saying something too.
Yeah. You can say something anytime. And if you don't, hey, no big deal. It's not a big deal because this is what, we're opening up our channel and everything to, entertain folks and to give them exposure. So
Yeah.
that's literally what we're here to do. So, and when we do that, and it's so weird because if it's just me and you, we'll get a couple of comments. But when we get guests on,
Oh yeah,
there's a million people showing up,
Yeah.
wanting to have a conversation, asking questions, not to the guests, but to like you or whatever, or
well,
just like a TikTok string. So I decided, I was like, hey, Jody, don't got a guess. I feel bad because we've only been able to answer and acknowledge a few of these folks. Let's just open it up. And this week and kind of do maybe let people ask all their questions and have discussions. Because it actually worked. I did one with my buddy AJ Wilkerson, Captain Ozism, and Jake Rubel, who were touring together. AJ just got through with Bert Kreischer, doing some shows with him on the Burt Boy tour. And they drug me into a little last second live, and it worked out. Well, we were just talking to people. Then I was like, this is a good idea. This is what we need to do, because every time we get a guest, we get a million people wanting to have a conversation. It's like, well, we entertain as much as we can, but we only got an hour. So, anyways,
well, the thing is, there's that fine balance of entertaining and letting somebody explore their stories.
Right, exactly. And I'm all about it, exploring things and talking about things and figuring out new things, but some people are just stupid. Let's be honest about it. Some people are just stupid. So before we jump into my stuff, watch. We'll have nobody comment today. Nobody other than mine. We'll have zero. We'll have zero people. We'll have zero. What we'll need to do is do a live on TikTok with me and you. Say, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Everybody, once a month, here's what we're gonna do.
Before this, I was live, and that's what I was kind of like hinting around.
Okay.
We're going live. Come on.
Yeah, come on. And then watch crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets. It's okay. So you've been busy. So what were you busy doing last week? Because I lost track, and then I saw you posted something about you got pissed off at Hershey, and I told you don't get mad. They're the mafia of candy world. So
Yeah, we went down to South Georgia to do a little family birthday thing. Ended up getting stuck down there a few extra days. And then I was sitting down there thinking, I'm like, let me message Hershey's. I got a great idea. I could take a bag, put Reese's Pieces Lifesaver gummies in them, market and sell them, and make a fortune. They didn't like the idea.
They got better ideas, is what they said.
Yes, they do. They do.
We don't need your. Well, I didn't know what you sent them. You just sent them a candy idea.
Apparently, my fan base don't mean nothing.
No, it doesn't. Not to Hershey. I told you that.
No,
it's like Hershey does not need. They don't have to advertise. They are the mafia of the candy world.
So now I'm going to look for an official candy. I'm finding something else.
There you go. Well, find local. Local or smaller is better. It's local and small is better. Because it's the big boys. They don't need anybody or any help, and they just rule the world.
Yep.
I'm gonna sit here and drink my coffee because I have not had coffee yet this morning. It's 11:30, and I am not. Fucking, I got up and had to drive all the way to Norcross and back, and get back here late.
You've been doing a lot of driving.
I thought it was funny. I was like, he pitched himself as a spokesperson or something, and they said nope.
I wasn't that stupid.
I was like, it's so funny. The Feet Finder likes you, I guess, huh?
Yes, they do. They do.
Do they?
I got to post a video today.
Oh, you got to post another one?
Yeah, I got to post another one today.
It's working.
So far.
Is that what they're saying, or they're just like? I mean, I don't know. I'm just curious. I mean, I always ask, is it working? Whenever I've had people sponsor show, I'm like, is it working? Have you gotten new clientele? Have you experienced an upsell? Or give me some feedback, because if I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, my thing is like if I'm not, I ain't wasting my time no more.
Right.
We've gotten a few little ads and this, that, and we've been doing, and I always reach back to them. But this one's through another company, so it's kind of hard to get feedback of is it working or not.
Is it? It's a marketing company for them.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're the in between.
They keep coming back for videos, so I guess it's working.
Well, if they keep coming back, then something's working, because
something's working.
Something's working. So I had to pull up your microphone volume a little bit there. Anyways, thought it was a little load in case when we throw this out for the recording for our top 50. We're in the top 50 comedy podcasts in the Philippines, Thailand, and everywhere, but everywhere. Dude, I still feel weird I can't look at myself without my beard still. It's bothering me, man.
Yeah.
It is bothering me so bad. It's actually bothering my wife more, which is even more fun.
But at least you still look like a man. See, when I filmed Mother's Day, they wanted me to shave.
Yeah.
And I ended up looking like a 6-year-old kid for a few weeks.
Because that's literally was your job.
Yeah.
That literally was your job. So let's be honest about it. That was your job.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, and they were like, we're going to shave the whole thing on. And I didn't want to, but they were paying enough. And I was like, okay. And then they screwed us out of like $200.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on that whole thing. So anyways, but then they shaved my beard, and then they go, oh, wait, hold on. We're going to leave the mustache. Well, no, we're not. And the girl and the chick that was saving my face, she was trying to be nice. She was, oh, you look so much younger. You look like Miles Teller from Maverick. I go, no, I look like Miles Teller if he gave up on life and ate pizza and didn't do anything is what I look like. I do not look like Miles Teller from Maverick.
Yeah.
I look like the fat version of him. And she was like, oh, and then she left. I go, you're leaving me with this 80s porn stash. This is not cool. This is not cool. This is not a good look. They go, well, the movie set in 1940s. I go, this mustache does not scream 1940. Okay, I'm just going to tell you.
Far from it.
Far from it. I'd rather you take the whole thing off than just leave me with this weird thing.
Yeah.
But then my wife came, and then I came home. I was like, well, I'll shave it off when I get home. And my wife came, and she's like, oh, they left you with that? I go, yeah. She goes, wow. Okay, I don't know. And I go, and we're going to keep it.
Yeah. That's like when I come home, I was all pretty clean shaved, and my wife looked at me and she's like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Like, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, now we got a spam. Yeah, we got a spam. No comment. We got a spammer here. Lower than a oh, listen to this. I want to offer you a promotion of your channel viewers, followers, views, chatbots. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Add-on, incredibly flexible and convenient order management panel. Everything is in your hands. Turn it on, turn it off, customize. Go to blank, 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 blank. Yeah, okay. And we're going.
Give us your social security number too.
It came. Hey, it came through Twitch. At least we're getting some traction in Twitch, I guess. So anyways, yeah, but the bots and the spammers out. Have you noticed more spamming on your stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. Even my wife is like, "Who's commenting on your like comedian page?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I don't know. I haven't looked." And it's these pictures of these chicks, and they're like, "Oh, hey, so you listen? I just want to stop by and say hi." I'm like, yeah, this. I'm like, it's a bot. She's like, oh no, but and then she was like, yeah, no, so no, not happening.
and it's sad that you got to keep up with it to delete the crap.
Yeah,
and waste your time.
Yeah, well, she's on my account because she's an admin on the account in case I ever get locked out or taken down or blocked. We have a backup. You know, we have somebody still on the account that can run and function it. Or if I'm doing things, hopefully it gets to the point where I'm so busy that she's eventually posting stuff for me or stuff. But but anyways, that's, you know, you got to have a backup. So she'll see it. She'll go, oh, and I'm like, you know what? It's a bot. You know that as well as I do. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah. It's a little obvious.
Yeah. It's worse now. It's so worse now like than it was. I mean, I know they said that there was like millions of bots on Twitter and like 80% of the majority of Twitter was like, you know, bots, and Elon got sold a bag of goods, but Facebook is now botted up like crazy.
Yes.
I thought maybe I needed to change my password, but it's everybody. I see it on everybody's page.
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't know. So you selling any feed on the Feet Finder?
I'm not.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
You're just getting money for that advertising. That's better.
I'm just getting money. Yeah.
That's better than trying to sell them.
That's true.
It's better.
I think I need to put more pics up there. All I did was just put normal generic feet pics.
Did they tell you? Did they kind of say, "Hey, here's what gets results. People post X amount or do this and this. You'll have a better chance if you do this or this." Kind of.
I'm sure if you dug deep into it, they would give you some information.
But nothing off the rip.
No.
Because I mean, we all joked about OnlyFans and people selling feet, which they were, and people have.
Yep.
And then now there's a whole company that's doing it. And it's like, and then so everybody's got to pay to subscribe to be able to whore their feet out. And it's like, doesn't there a point there's just too many, there's too much, and just like only a select few sell? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I'm not trying to I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, because I mean it was a decent business model. I mean, hell, they went out on their own. They've created a business model off of it. So I'm not arguing.
There's money in it, but like, how does that flow?
Like if you said boobs, I could understand. Okay, I could understand that. But just feet. That just blows me away. Is that many people? I mean, I keep forgetting how many billions of people are in the world. Let's be honest about that. Okay, I keep.
That's true.
And you know, they say find your million, and you're like, well, that sounds a lot, but it's really not in the grand scheme of things.
No.
If you really think about it, because I mean, you found a couple million, you know, and real quick, and there's still millions of people out there, billions actually, you know, all over. So it's like, but how many of the population enough to support that kind of thing?
Yeah,
is a weird thing.
Well,
I mean, there's a niche for everything, and certain niches only gravitate so many thousands of people. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
there's some weird niches out there I've come across. I'm like, that's weird, but you know, in their base is probably, you know, less than 1 million. Well, there's 700 or something thousand people. Whatever, you know, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Like Pez, like Pez. Let's talk about, for example, Pez. Have you seen that new Netflix documentary thing on Pez? You need to watch it. It's really cool. Dude saw it. Apparently, there was a Pez catastrophe or Pez thing there was a big Pez thing going on in the 90s, between 90 and 94 when I graduated high school, and a big uproar in the Pez community. You know, Pez is real big. People collect the Pez dispensers, and they're cool. I've had a lot of cool ones over the years. I've tried to keep them, you know. But a lot of them are worth money. People have paid. Guess how much people have paid for a Pez dispenser?
I can imagine.
One.
I can imagine it's stupid.
Yeah, just. I mean, I'll tell you the price of one of them that a lady said she spent on one on the documentary. But guess.
I could say 10 to 15,000.
11,000.
Yeah.
For one.
Yeah.
She said that was the most she's ever spent. Now I'm sure there's people that spent more, but she was like, "Yeah, I spent 11,000 on just one."
11, and then your house burns down and it melts.
Ooh. Yeah, at that point you gotta like have a specialty insurance claim, which you can get if you prove you show where you spent the amount of money on it. Then you can get a special rider on that. It's called a rider, special rider outside. Yep. But you can't because I worked in the insurance stuff, so I do know that is out there if they do that. But you're right, if they don't. They're gone. But yeah, apparently there's a weird thing in the Pez world, man. The Pez world. Apparently there's Pez USA, and then there's Pez over in Europe. And Pez USA had an agreement with the folks in Europe that Europe could not sell their Pez in the US, and the only people and the only designs and the only Pez creations could be designed and sold by the US in the United States, and they couldn't sell any of theirs, and they agreed to it. Apparently this thing was like forever ago.
Yeah.
So Pez just rolling along. And this is how weird it gets. So there's collectors, okay? There's collectors of everything. People collect all kinds of stuff, which I knew about Pez collecting. What I didn't know, is there was this dude that went on because he ended up calling himself like the Pez Outlaw. Just a dude who collected like cereal boxes and would like collect the toys. Yeah. And would collect boxes, and he got hundreds of toys, and then he started selling them and making money, extra money on the side because he lived in Michigan, wanted to make a lot. Anyways, so he stumbles into Pez. And he talks to this lady at us, and she's like, she goes, well, if you really want to sell Pez, you need to go to Europe to get the really unique ones. And he was like, So he booked a trip, goes over there, goes to the factory. They let him in. He buys all these Pez for like a 25 cents on the dollar and brings them back to the U.S. Well, all these that he's bringing back have never been sold here, never been released here. They're not anywhere in anybody's collection. So now he's selling them all these collectors. Making money hands over fist, okay? But he's bringing back thousands at a time. Well, customs stop him, and this is what I didn't realize, and I learned some really cool new information. Is that he was bringing them in? They stopped him. They're like, you can't bring this in. You don't have a licensing agreement. You don't have a agreement with Pez to be able to ship or authorize to bring them in. He goes, well. They said, well, let us check. Hold on, and apparently. Pez did not. So if you get a copyright on a product, if you copyright anything of your stuff and have it, you got certain people are licensed to bring it in and sell it.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't tell, and this is what's weird, if you don't tell customs, we have a patent on this and a copyright on this. Do not let anybody into the U.S. with anything like it. You have to do that outside of it. Just because you have a copyright and trademark does not protect you. You have to go to customs and file a thing directly with customs. And if you do not, they can and will let people in with those products. And so this dude's got thousands of these Pez, and they look it up and they go, Well, if they're too dumb not to register with us, see you, have a good day.
Yeah.
And Buddy Boy is just rolling in with a Pez every so often, making hundreds of thousands of dollars build a house, all that. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then Pez gets all mad because they hear about it. There's Pez conventions. And there's all this stuff.
And it goes back to Fleet Finder. There's a niche for everything.
There's a niche. Look, I'm not arguing about the niche.
Yeah.
I'm not bitching about the niche. I'm just trying to figure the niche out and wrap my head around the niche.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so the guy, and then he ends up creating his own designs and brings them in, does all this stuff, and then Big Pez, and the Pez ends up destroying him. Pez USA ends up destroying him, and he ends up quitting and giving up. But he makes a ton of money doing it. But it was just so funny because I was like, oh shit. So if in the US Customs said, if you have a patent, you have a copyright, you're getting it made and produced outside the US, and somebody goes and buys them at that factory and comes across, and you have not registered your product with customs saying, do not let this enter the US. It is protected. We own it. Blah, blah, blah. They just go, see ya.
And how many people have figured that out and made millions?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So they go, and then so they interviewed the guy that was CEO of Pez at the time, and he goes, and they go, so why didn't y'all register? He goes, it should have been registered, and I don't know because that's not really my department, but I assumed it was already done through our legal people. So it was like one of those things they just never did. And whoever was in charge of that probably didn't know. They just thought they were protected because they had a copyright and trademark. Oh, we're copyright, we're trademark. But no, you got to go a step further.
Yeah.
And go to customs directly and say, hey, that's why, you know, those Louis Vuittons and all, they can stop those because it's like, no, this is fake. It's knockoff. They're registered. You're not, only.
Yeah.
But Pez boo-booed, and this dude went for years bringing them in, going over and bringing them in. Apparently, there was two factors, so he bounced the one to the other and just bring them in. And to the point, Pez was, and the Europeans wanted his American dollars, so he was paying them in American dollars. So they're just like, here you go, buddy. Here you go.
Have at it.
Truckloads. And it was really cool. I told my wife, you're gonna like this, and she was like, she don't like stuff like that. And then she watched it. She goes, this was really cool and interesting. I was like, I learned a lot. I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. But they have conventions all the time. People sell, and then when there people are like, yeah, I spent, and they're showing these collections of just.
So now I want to go to one.
Like rooms. Oh yeah. They're like in the Midwest, but you can find them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And but now this guy's known as the Pez Outlaw. He was the guy that kind of fought Pez and went up against them. And little dude, little guy beats the big guy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was really interesting. He's quite a character. He's quite a character. I might have to reach out to him, bring him on the show. Pretty sure I can get him on here.
Probably.
I can get him on here. So, anyways, I just thought it was interesting. It was a good story, but that goes back to Fleet Finder and there's niches. You're just like, how many people? Because you can start something and it just fail miserably, but then it's like feet.
Yeah.
Feet.
But you got the crowd who like feet, and then you got the people who are gonna buy it as gag gifts.
Now, I can understand the cameo stuff on that, but I don't understand somebody buying that as a gag gift to somebody. I guess. Yeah. Unless they just give them some funky, weird feet.
Yeah.
But, you can get those for free. So you can just walk into a gym and take some feet. I would have just, there you go.
Yeah.
Heck, you can go on TikTok and find weird feet and all that pimple popping stuff and feet stuff and people, all kinds of gross, weird stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did they allow you to see it?
What's that?
I said that they allow you to see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But there's niches for everything. That's just so it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know, you just don't think about it, and you're like, how did I not think about that? How did
Yeah.
I not you know, like this guy was just sitting around selling cereal toys, you know, toys from cereal boxes that people were collecting, which I get that. And that was cool. And then he just stumbled into Pez. You know, some lady saw it and like, I was like, huh. And then next thing you know it, he's bringing back Pez and duffel bags like, you know, kilos of cocaine and selling them.
Like Beanie Babies.
Oh yeah, Beanie Babies. You see, dude, they did a thing on Beanie Babies.
Did they?
Yeah, Netflix also has a series called The Toys That Made Us. It's a really good, and they have the one that it's called The Movies That Made Us, and they do all these movies they do RoboCop, Back to the Future, Goonies, get all the behind the scenes, tell you all the stories about what went on, how, you know, how the movie came about, how it almost didn't come about, all that kind of stuff. But there's the one Toys That Made Us, and they did Rubik's Cube, Transformers, Care Bears, and then they did Beanie Babies, and the craze of Beanie Babies and the guy that created them. And how that was going nuts in the 90s, how it went from like people were, you know, in divorces and having to divide up their Beanie Baby
collections
in court because they got to the point they were worth so much money, and there were certain ones that were like, ooh, you know, and all this. And then it was like the .com, it just bust one day, and the people got stuck with them.
Yep.
And they're worth nothing now.
Yeah.
Some collectors and some small markers, they say they're still worth something to people. People still have them. But they interviewed some people that had spent stupid money. Kind of like the lady that spent $11,000 on a Pez dispenser would spend like $5,000-$6,000 to have that one, or $1,000 or $2,000 in the craze of it. And then now they go, what do you think? And I think they asked me, like, what do you think? What do you think now? Now it's not really worth anything. No, I'm happy with it. I still have it. But no, you're not. No, you're not. I would punch
your grandkids or your great grandkids are gonna love it.
I would punch myself in the wiener every day.
Yeah.
When I walk by and looked at it. You dummy! You didn't sell it. You dummy!
Yeah.
But they, you know, they think about. You think about things like that. It's like, but you never know what's going to be worth stuff and what's worth. You know what people are going to. You know, nobody. It's like me and my mom get an argument all the time. Well, no one get an argument. She made me sell all my Star Wars stuff at one point. And I was like really mad about it, and still mad about it, especially when everything went to like over $1,000 a figure. And I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. How's that? How did that go, Mom? She was like, well, you were older. I was like, it's mine. It was mine. It was not yours to sell. It was mine. You know, it's like, come on now.
Yeah, it's funny the different like things that do pick up.
Yeah.
For crazy reasons.
Yeah, everything comes back around. You just got to wait it out. Everything comes back around. Because honestly, you got to think about it, and you need to watch that series. It's fun to watch a couple episodes here and there, and when you got, you know, you're kind of bored and want something there, it reminds you a lot of stuff. It's like, oh man, I remember the craze. I remember that. They show footage of people like, you know, standing, you know, and you know. And they did one on Cabbage Patch Dolls, people waiting outside and rushing the doors. I mean, that was literally the first kind of like Black Friday big craze thing where people were like banging on doors and fighting each other over toys, you know, instead of like TVs and stuff. That's where all that spawned from. Realistically, that was the beginning. That was the birth of all that, you know, stuff. And
then you ended up with having Tickle Me Elmo fights.
Yeah, and then it went to Tickle Me Elmo.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when Tickle Me Elmo. My kids were little. I thought it was weird, and they weren't into it. I think they were just a little bit older than to have the Tickle Me Elmo. It was like one of those things. They were just a little bit too old to have that. But I remember being at Target and heard something about Tickle Me, and I saw them on the shelf, and I touched it. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I thought about buying 2 or 3 at the time, not because it was going crazy, just because it was. People had said, you know, if you see a Tickle Me, I'm looking for it before the craze went nuts. Before it went nuts, and it was literally like just a couple weeks before it went nuts, and I stood there looking at like 10 of them. They weren't that expensive,
Yeah.
And I was like, I should grab a couple just to have in case some friends of mine are looking for one and help them out because they have younger kids than I do. And I didn't do it. And then this stuff hit the fan like literally a week or 2 weeks later. And they go news. Tickle Me Elmo is off the shelves. No king fun. And next thing you know, people are like, I got $400. I got $500. I'm like,
yeah. Mark had one. Me and Mark went to the store to get one for my niece. We had it in a buggy, and a lady tried to snatch it out. Yes. Mark absolutely flipped out.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
She give it back?
Yeah, she put it back in the buggy. We didn't shop for nothing else. We went straight to the register.
Yeah.
Paid for it, put it in the car, and left.
Oh, it's it. But technically, it's not yours. Not yours until you pay for it. So it's still up for grabs.
Yeah. It's in the buggy.
Still up for grabs. A comedian that's hilarious. He's been on JFL and everything. He's got a great joke about going grocery shopping and making expediting your grocery shopping experience by just walking in and grabbing somebody's buggy and walking off. I mean, because technically it's not theirs. They've gathered it. I'm trying not to butcher his joke, but they know where everything is. They've already got it once. So, and now I'm going to try a new thing. They haven't paid for it. It's not there. So now, they know where everything is because it's hilarious. He does a way better job, but it's true. I'm just like, oh, that's some funny stuff, but it's true. It's true.
Now, should I do it or not?
A buddy called me. My buddy Todd called me 3 days ago? 3 days ago. Monday. I forget what day it is. Monday. He said, got a funny story for you. I'm like, here it comes. Like, I get these all the time. It's like, hey man, I got something you can use in your bit. Your stand up. Like, no. Not gonna use it. Number one. Number two. But okay, and he's like, so I was at Kroger over because he lives near me. He says, I was over at Kroger, and he goes, and I was shopping, got a few things. He goes, I turned, walked about 4 feet from my buggy to look at something to grab it, turned back around, my buggy was gone. He goes, I could have swore you were in the Kroger and you saw me and grabbed my buggy and ran it and hid it from me. He said, so he goes, it freaked me out at first. He goes, oh, Andy's here. He goes, because I always see you at Kroger. He goes, I always see you at Kroger. And he and I hang out all the time too. And he goes, I always see you at Kroger. He goes, so here I am walking down the aisles going, he goes, and I start yelling, Andy, you stole my buggy. Where are you at? Where's my buggy, Andy? He goes, I'm yelling, Andy, what'd you do with my buggy? I said, no, you didn't. Like a crazed parrot. He goes, yeah. He goes, Andy, what'd you do with my buggy? I know you're here. Took my buggy. Sorry, son of a... He said after about the 5th time he's yelling it, this lady comes around the corner red and laughing, her hand over her mouth going, I am so sorry I grabbed your buggy. And she goes, I thought it was mine. And he goes, I turned red. He goes, here I am because people are looking at me. He goes, I'm nowhere near Kroger.
Where's the camera? Where's the camera when you need it?
I said, I wouldn't even do that to you. I said, but now I got to.
Yeah. This is going to be repetitive now.
And I just thought back to that joke. It's like, you dummy. He could be like you to do something like that. I said, probably. I said, but honestly, I would probably grab something weird and throw it in your buggy and wait and see you get to the register and then you go, wait, what?
Throw a couple boxes of condoms in it.
Yeah, something weird, something that something weird, just something that you wouldn't buy that you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
And see if you go through with buying it or not, or saying no, I don't need that, and trying to have the discussion, I don't need that.
Yeah. Oh, it's the wrong size. I grabbed the wrong size. I don't need them.
Wrong size. I meant to get the flavored ones. Ah, damn it. Damn it. I'm like, you dummy. I'm like, what is wrong? Oh, it's stupid stuff. Stupid stuff. Oh, it's hilarious. Where are we at on the cameos? Where are we at on cameo tallies?
I've done like 50 in the past week. It's kind of slowed down.
Why is that, you think?
Beginning of the year.
Beginning of the year, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to get their Christmas money situated back around.
Yeah. Getting ready for taxes and all that stuff.
Yep.
But people are still spending money. People are.
Yeah, they are.
This time of the year is great for comedy. I get really busy. I got a last minute show Friday from my buddy Yoshi at From the Earth is Brewing. From the Earth Brewery in Roswell. Cool place, great place. We had a packed show. It was a great show. Sold merch and then drove to Missouri Saturday. I have never been to Missouri. And this was the southeast corner of Missouri. Actually, I take that back. I've been to St. Louis, but that's in. But I went to the southeast corner. I mean, literally the corner.
Yeah.
And had to go through Illinois. It was. I'm just going to say this: if you ever go to Missouri, keep this in mind when you're driving. If you drive to Missouri, before you cross the Missouri line, they will not tell you this. But you need to stop, use the bathroom, and get something to eat.
Yeah.
There is not a bathroom. There's nothing to eat for over 100 miles from when I hit the state line.
Yep.
And there is nothing in Missouri but fields. Not trees, not bushes.
Yep.
Fields.
Nothing.
It's farmland. Now, it's pretty. It's God's country. But there's not a goddamn bathroom or a bush to hide behind if you've got to pee or poop. And let me tell you something. You got to poop, you are pooping on the side of the road where everybody can see you.
Yep.
And they think it's just so funny. And they think it's, I'm like, it's 100 miles. 100 miles. There's no bathrooms. There's no exits. There's no restaurants. And there's fields. Nothing. And then every now and then they have this one random tree in the middle of 1,000 freaking acres
that you don't want to go around.
I'm not going across. I mean, it was the middle of nowhere, like nowhere. Like people came from an hour away to this place that we did the show at because there's nothing around. I was like, "Hey, where's your nearest Waffle House?" They go 56 miles away. I go, "What?" I go, "I got a Waffle House joke," and I go, they said, "Well, yeah." I said, "Do y'all go to Waffle House late at night and hammer?" And they go, "Yeah, but we'll get a pizza to eat a pizza on the way to Waffle House to go." I'm like, "Wait, so you have to get a snack because the drive is so long to Waffle House to eat at Waffle House?" They're like, "Yes." I'm like,
"Wow."
Yeah, I'm like, "Wow."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, are y'all hammering?" They go, "Yeah." They go, but then you've eaten and you're sober. They go, "Yeah, no. But that's what you got to do to go places to have fun." They go, "Heck, we had 60 people at the show, 60 people packed out, almost sold out. I mean, it was packed." So he goes, "Well, everybody that's coming into this show is from such and such town." I go, "I don't know where that is. How? Okay, give me how far that is." They start telling me. They measure things in fields.
Yeah.
And they go, and they say, "Well, where are these people coming from?" They go, "It's an hour away." I go, "All these people are driving an hour away to come see you?" They go, "Yeah, there's nothing else. There's only 2 other bars that are our competition." I go, "Where?" I drove 100 miles and never saw another goddamn building. Where this competition at? They go, "Well, there's 2 other bars, but they're bars, kind of, gritty bars." And I go, "Okay, tell me how close those bars." I go, "Well, the first one's 38 miles. That's not a competition. That's 4 counties over."
Yeah.
And they go, "Well, the other bar is 26 miles." Again, That is not competition.
No. No.
They go, and I said, they go, well, people bar hop. I go, if you told me we're going bar hopping and we got to go 38 miles to the next one and then 28 miles to the next one, I go, you can hang it up.
Yeah. You're sober by the time you get there.
I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
They go, but this is it. This farm, and I get it. It's farmland. It's farmland.
Yeah.
Farmland. So a buddy of mine's up there that I drew, who I did not. I forgot. He said he had a farmer there. I didn't know. He goes. He calls me. He messaged me. He goes, hey man, I'm gonna come see your show if I can teleport from Atlanta. I'm thinking he's in Atlanta, and I forgot he has some land up there. Come to find out, he's got land like not just past where I'm doing the show, and he went to school up there for a little bit. So all of a sudden he walks in to surprise him. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He goes, man. He goes, dude. He goes, my dad's place that I inherited is 6 fields over. And I go, huh? 6 fields over. I said, you're not the first person to say this to me. Can you tell me what the measurement of a field is? Because I know what fields are. I'm from Georgia. I've seen fields. I have been in rural places, but this is the most rural place I've ever been. But y'all measure everything in fields. Do tell, what's the measurement of a field so I can calculate how far 6 fields is to your house? And he goes, well, it's 6 miles. I go, a field is a mile?
Yeah.
He goes, well, I've got a, he goes, man, my place is small. He goes, don't tell nobody. He goes, they'll laugh at me. And I go, what? He goes, it's only 40 acres. Only 40 acres. Oh,
only.
Sorry. He goes, yeah, it's small. Most of these people. And then I'm having this girl, the girl goes, yeah, that is small. Like, poor you, sorry, wish you could have a little bit bigger field. She's like, oh, yeah, our place is about 8,000 acres. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
10,000 acres. They're like, oh, I mean, like.
But it's so pretty up there.
I'm like, oh, my gosh. I don't know. It was pretty because it was sunset when I was coming in.
Yeah.
But when I left, it was dark. And I told him, I was like, if you folks don't think I'm funny and don't like me, this is the place where people disappear and never come back, because some people are buried out here on Unsolved Mysteries. I know this, like, this is the place people go to disappear.
Last time we went to Missouri, we went up to go get, me and the wife went to go get 2 units for the trailer. And we got to Paducah, Kentucky, and all of a sudden it gets black. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, crap, storm's coming. Well, then we turn the radio on and a tornado's coming. Yeah. So we pull in, get a motel. 2 o'clock in the morning, the power goes out. Like, crap. So then we're like, where else do you go? Like you said, I mean, it's miles between exits. There ain't crap out there. There wasn't no food. There wasn't no gas stations.
Nothing.
So, yeah, we ordered pizza, and it took like 2.5 hours to get there.
Nothing. There's zero zilch. I drove 3 hours back to Clarksville just to stay. But it took me 2.5 hours to get from the venue out in this middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
To get to where there was a town where there's something open, like a gas station or anything. Like, there was nothing. Yeah. Zero. Like, when they say nothing, like, you better, like, you hit Missouri state line, fill up, poop out, whatever you got to do, because there ain't nothing. Nothing.
And if you live there, you go in every month to the store, and that's it.
Well, yeah, most of them have. I was talking about eggs. They just looked at me like, "We got our own chickens." What are you talking about? Egg shortage? I'm like, okay, never mind. Sorry, I know your audience. My bad. My bad. and then the girl, and I'm sitting there talking to the girl. I'm trying to get some information, fill of land, because I'm just trying to. So I'll make sure all the material I got is going to work. Because I'm like, some stuff obviously is not going to connect out here. Some stuff may or may not work. I need to know closest towns. And then, so she's filling me in. So I've got some stuff to talk about to kind of work with. And then she's like, and she goes, we got some real strange folks out here. I go, I'm sure. I'm not doubting that.
Yeah.
And then she goes, you want to see some real strange folks? He goes, you go to Walmart around here, it'll blow your mind. I said, well, Walmart's bad enough. She goes, no, go to Walmart. I said, where's Walmart? So where's the closest Walmart? Do tell. She goes, it's about 60 miles that way. I go, God dang, 60 miles.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus.
Then you start thinking like Girl Scout cookies. Where do they go?
Yeah, dude, they got it figured out. They're just used to they're 60 miles to them or 35 miles
Yeah.
or 25 miles is nothing.
Yeah.
Because they're that star. But the good news is they appreciate when you're there.
Yes.
They're there, they're attentive, they're like not, they're like, hey, we're here for fun, we're here to have a good time. And that's what I wanted to give them because I'm like, God dang, you people are driving an hour away.
Yeah.
And I understand why. I get it. Because if I was out
Yeah.
here, I'd be like, get me somewhere to be around people and to entertain me, because I can only stare at this freaking field for so long,
Yeah.
and shoot so many deer. There's a point where you're just like, and I get it. They're great folks. Nothing. It's a different element. It's like, God dang.
Well, like you said, you have to level up because of how long they're going.
Yeah. Yeah. Now the pressure's on,
Yeah, exactly.
The pressure's on. So now I'm like really, I hope all my stuff connects. And now that I know this, I can kind of tee off on it and talk about it, or, kind of poke fun back, like, and they thought it was funny and stuff. Some of the things I said and did because I said, look, if I disappear, my wife will walk out here and look at one field, go, I ain't walking across that field. He's gone. He's gone. Find a better place. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't even want to walk around.
Yeah,
take a poop behind that one tree you got out there.
And it's not like that tree's close.
No,
that tree is way.
Wait, dude, it's like Vegas. Oh, you think the hotel's close? You're walking 45 minutes later. You're still walking. Nowhere near.
Yeah.
Nowhere near. It's like it just keeps getting further and further and further. I didn't even attempt. I was like, that is a mirage of a tree. That is a mirage. I will poop right here beside my truck. I will hold the bumper. Everybody can see my starfish. I'm pooping on the side of the road. And when I said that, people just start laughing. They go, "Oh, it's true, it's true." And I go, "That's a thing. That's normal everyday life for you folks." I go, "Yeah." And I go, "I understand. For 95 miles since I hit Illinois, there was nothing. Zero. Zero. What's up, Scott Mitchell? What's up? What's up? But yeah, it was fun. But the people were great. Sold merch. Got back to Knapp and Clarksville. Came back. It was only an 8-hour ride out there and back. But yeah, it's and people say, I want to live out in the country. That's out there.
That's past the country.
That's a whole nother, everybody. But it was great. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
If it didn't snow stupidly ridiculous,
I had to run from the snow.
I would go.
I had to run from the snow. We got done with the show. We're standing there, and they're like, "Hey, you need to get going." And I go, "What?" They go, "Snow's headed this way right now." And I said, "I thought we were just supposed to rain." They go, "No, we're about to get snow, and we're at the tail end of this snowstorm, so we're going to get some, and it's going to start sleeting and icing up out there. If you're going back south, you need to go now." Well, number one, there wasn't a hotel anywhere near in Missouri where I was.
Yeah.
Okay? So I had to go to literally Illinois or Tennessee to get a hotel, and I ended up in Clarksville. But so I get my truck, and they go, "No, you need to go now. Like, go, get going."
Yeah.
And so I got going, and soon enough, I wasn't even down the road 2 miles, and it started sleeting. I'm like, "Oh," but it chased me out. And it was still only about 34 degrees, so there wasn't any bridge or anything, so I had to deal with any ice. But I was running from it because it was coming.
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, you're gonna be on the side of the road," and I was like, "I do not need to be on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere." I had no phone signal, and I had no phone. And I called my wife. I said, "If you don't hear from me in X amount of time, send somebody because I'll be out here in the middle of the darkness of I don't know where, Missouri, and I don't have a phone. I haven't. There was 2 hours of me driving. I had no phone signal at the place. Luckily, they had Wi-Fi so I could connect, and I had to email the booker, "Hey man, I don't have a phone signal. Look, I'm out here." Like we're bouncing.
And to see places so out of everywhere and having Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, and that's what I was like. Okay, how do we have Wi-Fi and I don't have a cell signal?
Yeah.
How does this make sense? Because y'all ran 1,000,000 miles of cable or something
Yeah.
out of here, ether cable, and where? And I mean, how long did it take y'all to run that cable out here?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't in the place that I was doing the show at. Wasn't on a main road. I had to go down dirt roads. And when I say down dirt roads, not just down dirt road a minute. No.
Yeah.
Andy went about 15 to 16 miles of dirt road before he found this place.
At any point in time, did you say, "Oh crap"?
Yes, many times. I'm like, how in the hell are these people calling themselves the Boathouse? I haven't seen a patch of water. How are they calling themselves a Boathouse?
Yeah.
Apparently, there was a pond behind the place I never saw, and I was like, I don't know.
So now you got to Google Map it to see if it's there.
It is, but it's like a little pond. It's not even a lake. They go, it's the Boathouse. I'm like, they go, we go back there and fish a little bit, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Have at it.
All right, have at it, brother. And then the guy the headliner Longhorn was amazing. He was hilarious. He's lived in that area and he's from Texas. And he's like, dude, the things you see out here, people come up here on their horses. They'll ride up here on horses and carriages and have beers and dude, you'll see in that parking lot, you'll see everything. He said, you'll see things you never thought you saw people trying to get to this bar to hang out and just get out of the house. He goes, you'd be amazed.
Yeah.
Because it's got everything from 4-wheelers to go-karts to horses and buggies and carriages and all kinds of stuff out here. I'm like, what?
So it's basically 1980s.
Dude, it's a blend of everything.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, it's a blend of everything. It's a blend of everything. But we had a great crowd. It was fun.
That's good.
Yeah, but that's part of hitting the road and experiencing new places. It's great.
Oh, it builds content.
Builds content and it builds appreciation for the toilet.
Yes, exactly.
I was like, y'all could put a porta potty on the side of a road somewhere, a dirt road, or build an old school wooden outhouse. I would have been happy, but like for the weary pooping traveler, here you go.
Yeah.
Here, I'd been like, thank you.
That's why they planted that tree.
I'm not.
And that tree is huge. It's not a small tree. It's been well fertilized.
It's like a 300-year-old oak tree is what it is.
Yeah.
Every one of them. I'm like,
yeah.
What the heck? It was like, hey, go get a switch off the tree. I'll be back in 2 days.
Yeah. See you later.
It is.
And then you bring back the wrong one, and you gotta go back and get another one.
Yeah, that's not big enough. That's not big enough. That's where the term rule of thumb comes from.
Is it?
Did you know that? Yeah, it actually goes back to there was a law that this is a long time ago. So this is the messenger. You couldn't, if your wife did something at a line of road, you couldn't hit her with anything bigger or wider than your thumb. If y'all got in a fight or anything. So rule of thumb, anything bigger or wider than your thumb, you couldn't hit her with.
That's gonna hurt.
Who you telling? I've seen twigs smaller than my pinky.
Yeah.
And they hurt like a
They hurt. Yeah.
So bitch. Scott Mitchell. That's how they get fertilized. Yeah, that's how they get fertilized. Dude, they got everything out there, man. I mean, they got tractors that blow your mind. You see there, I mean, millions of dollars sitting there in equipment.
That's what cracks me up. Dumb farmers. And they got $2 million worth of equipment.
They ain't dumb. They're smart folk.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing, man. They know what they're doing. They got to figure out more than I do. Figured out more than I do, but it was crazy, and I didn't see no deer. That was crazy.
If you were deer, would you be out there?
They clear cut the whole state. What?
I said, if you was a deer, would you be out there?
No. They clear cut the whole state.
Yeah.
They did. They clear cut the whole state. I swear to God.
There's that one tree you gonna hide behind.
They done run them all off. Run them all off. Hey, there's something else I was going to talk about too, and I done forgot. Man, jean season. No, it's not jean season. I'm ready for bathing suit season. I'll tell you that much. This warm, cold rain, dude. It's been raining all.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Craziness. I had something. I had some notes here. See, this is what happens. I take notes, and then I forget the notes, and then I misplace my notes, and then I don't know. So I got kicked out of the crafting.
Get some Post-it notes.
Dude, I need to
post them everywhere.
If I wasn't running late this morning, it's my fault, man. So, anyways, that's where we are. Are you going anywhere? You got anything coming up?
I am learning to do a Shopify store.
Okay.
Do some drop shipping stuff.
Yeah, we did that. That's what sort of classy was, and it's a lot to keep up with.
It is.
It's a lot to maintain. It's a full-time job. We had to postpone it because Liz couldn't keep up with it, and you got to constantly update it, push it out there. You end up putting in about 120 hours before you actually see a sale back. And then there's tons of ways to do it, but you've really got to dedicate somebody to it.
Yes.
Full time.
Yeah.
And not to say that we didn't have success with the few sales we did have. We did. They went well. Everybody liked the stuff. But in order to get people to buy and take action and buy, you have got basically what you're doing on TikTok. Instead of doing just TikToks to keep your fans happy, you have to do that full time with that. There's no room for anything else. There's no room. Not the way it is nowadays, because now everybody's doing it because it's so over. In the 90s, in the 2000s, when it kind of people were doing it, and before people realized what it was, before everybody went out, oh, this is what you do. Now it's so flooded. Unless you got some really cool niche, but in order to keep it going, you may have some success at first, but to keep it going, it's a daily, daily, nonstop, 8 to 10 hours a day. And I didn't have the time. Liz thought she was going to be able to start it and hand it over to me. And I was like, when am I going to have time to do comedy? Well, you can do this 5-6 hours during the night. And I'm like, I still got to write. I still got to get booked. I still got to do this. I got to, not to say I can't. I could dedicate, a couple hours.
Yeah.
And then she got mad because I put I put my stuff on there. And then she's like, nope, that's not what this is for. I'm like, well, then I'm done. I quit. And then she was like, and she was like, I want to do this full time. I go, do it full time.
Yeah.
She's like, we need insurance. I go, yes, we do need insurance. So that's a good point.
Yeah, that is the point.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, good point, man. So, anyways, but we'll get out of here and land this plane here in a second. We did lose a listener. My grandfather passed away about a week ago. I didn't really say anything about it because we were doing the movie and stuff, and knew he was on the way out. I went down and saw him, hung out with him. He was God, was 89? Grandpa was 89, almost 90. Sharp as that. We talked a lot, good times. He was a pilot for Eastern for many, many years, almost 40 years, 33 years, and then flew for Air Lanka from 1990 to 94, 95 until he retired, because you have to be, once you're 65 here in the U.S., you're no longer allowed to fly, period, commercially.
Yeah.
No longer, you can fly private, your own plane, but you cannot fly commercially. And then, so they had different age limit over there. So he went over there for about 4 or 5 years, finished out. So, but he flew planes since he was like 13 years old. He used to crop dust a lot of the fields.
Yeah.
And farms around Atlanta before they became rural and all that. So he flew for many, 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 many years. That was his lifelong dream. That was his quest. That's what he did. And he passed away last week, and his funeral was yesterday. This is what I was going to talk about. And it was weird. I didn't know this, but apparently he bought a crypt up in Pennsylvania. His wife, Charlotte, my pseudo step grandmother, she had family up there, and I knew that, but apparently they decided to buy a crypt up there and have the funeral and be buried up there. And they were like, don't worry about traveling up there. We're going to have it on Zoom. And I was like, Zoom?
Wow.
Like, yeah. Now I know we did a lot of Zoom stuff because of COVID and stuff, but they were like, yeah, they Zoom all the funeral. So the funeral was yesterday at 10:30. And this is a funny thing. So here's the thing. So my gramps, God rest him, God bless him. He can fly. He's flown everywhere in the world. 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah.
He never had an incident. He never had anything in his entire career. Never had any issues, nothing. Typically always on time, no issue, no problem. He could go anywhere. You give him a plane, he'll take you, land that sucker, drop it wherever you want it. You tell him to be at a family get-together and give him directions, and he's been there 2 to 3 times. Not only will he still be over an hour late, he will get lost every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Without fail. And call. Don't know where I'm at. Don't know where we're over here. How'd you get over there? The house is over here. I mean, and he was not senile. He was sharp.
Yeah.
He was there. He's like, he didn't know north, south, east, and west when he was in a car.
Yeah.
I swear to God. So the funeral's happening at 10:30, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm kind of excited about it because now I'm in my robe at a funeral. So I click on the church, turns it on at about 10:20. So I'm like, okay, I'll have some coffee, sit here and do some writing, blah, blah. 10:30 rolls around. There's nobody in the church. I'm like, I thought he was being buried. I didn't think he was cremated. Where's the casket? And I said, well, did he get cremated? I'm texting my mom. She's like, I don't know what's going on. Keeps going. About 10:50, a priest comes in and goes, hey, folks, running a little late here. Sit tight with us. We'll be with you shortly. We got some weather up here, but other than that, we'll be with you shortly. I was like, what the frick? 10:57. This is all on camera. The side door beside the front of the church goes flying open. About 8 people come rolling in, like just hauling ass in. I see this guy talking blah 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 blah. The priest is like, okay, blah. People are just like 8, 9 people just flying, running in. All of a sudden, I see these 2 dudes come running up with a cat. I see the casket come up, take a right, take a left, and they're running with this casket. Like it was like something out like National Lampoon. Like all these people running in front of the casket and into the casket with these 2 guys hauling ass. Because they're late. They're over a half an hour late. Yeah. And they have to run to the back of the church because it's a Catholic church. So they have to start the ceremony at the back. They didn't roll up and just shove him in the front. No. So now they're running down the aisles of the church. Situate the casket. Everybody gets ready. They're all like shoveling. Okay, now we get ready, and boom, 11 o'clock. The priest is rushed, and they're all. I'm like, you're late to your own goddamn funeral, dude.
One last amazing memory.
You're late to your own funeral. And of course, it's a Catholic ceremony, so of course it's an hour long. So now we're getting into 12 o'clock. They do communion. I'm cracking a beer for the blood of Christ and eating cold pizza for the body of Christ. I'm like, this is the best funeral ever. I'm like, if we can do every funeral, Zoom, and weddings, I will attend. And the fact that I don't have to travel and I can sit here in my underwear and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Dude, it was hilarious. I'm sitting there laughing. I was like, I'm not supposed to be laughing, but he'd get a kick out of it.
Exactly.
He'd get a kick out of it because I always gave him a hard time. I was like, yeah, you never could be on time to any family gatherings. He's like, I'm like, look, you can fly everywhere in the world, but you cannot find your way to a brown paper sack in the car.
Yeah.
And he didn't argue with it. He's like,
Yeah, you're right.
But he did. He used to watch this on YouTube, and we talked about comedy and stuff like that when I went and saw him down in Florida in November.
Yeah.
It was just funny, and so he'd get a kick out of it. So especially talking about it. But yeah, dude, he was. And I told my mom, I was like, "Hear this? He was late to his own funeral." It's like, God bless. It, there's just certain things in life and afterlife.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's all I got. You got anything else? I think we're gonna land this plane and get out of here.
I'm good.
Okay, next time we will not attempt to do any answered questions and things like that. We will just do our normal show with guests or whoever we want to do. And if people comment, screw them.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Thank y'all, Scott and Mitch, and Chuck and everybody. No, we did this intentionally. Like, everybody pour on in, because every time we have a guest, people want to have a conversation, and we can't have a conversation with everybody in the world while we're trying to not ignore our guests. So
Exactly.
because and of course people don't want to talk about what's related to our guests. They want to talk about other crap.
Everything else.
Everything else. All right. Well, that's it for me. We'll be back next week, hopefully, unless we're busy doing something, but we should be able to be back next week. We got some more guests coming up. I'm trying to line up and have some more fun comedians, other folks. So be interesting. I will be in Vegas a couple weeks. I will be at Stand Up Live February 1st in Huntsville, Alabama, with my buddy headlining AJ Wilkerson, Captain Autism. He just got off a tour with Bert Kreischer. He's blowing up everywhere. Also featuring on that show is a friend of mine, Jake Rubel. I'll be hosting that show. We'll be selling Sugar Hugger shirts, everything. And so if you're in Huntsville, Alabama, or near Huntsville, Alabama, get a ticket. They're only $15. It's a Wednesday night show. It's called the Shake and Bake Comedy Tour. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be great. It's always a good club. Great place. Nice club. Big club. Very well managed by a friend of mine. And so it's a good place to be. So if you're anywhere in that, come on. Hang out. Is that it for you, sir? Anything else? Feetfinder.com, midgetmafiaus.us. I forgot to put the banners up today. That's how far I was running behind today. Yep. Anyways, I got some more shows coming up. I'll be in Vegas in February. We'll talk about that next week. See you next week. Peace out. Playa.
Peace.